Anna Koppelman.
Hi, it's so good to be here.
Oh, you're one of my favorite people ever.
Oh, thank you.
Anna,
you too.
I always like to start with a compliment.
Oh my
and,
God, I wasn't prepared.
I know, that's why I like to start right away. 'Cause
Oh,
people
no.
never are. You are so funny.
Aw.
And you're a wonderful person, first off. But I remember too, like, you were one of these comedians that when I first saw you, like, you know, like you see someone who's just so talented, you get really angry.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I had to tell that to you because I saw your act for the first time. I think Brian Elberg was there, who's also been on this podcast.
Well, Brian Elberg is one of my favorite.
I love Brian so much.
Yeah, he's just the best. I think the first show I did, I think it was Dan Janine who...
Dan Janine brought you here.
Yes.
I remember. And it was so funny because he was like, I have this other hilarious comic I'm bringing with me. And I was like, oh, who is it? He's like, Anna. And I was like, oh, I saw her out in New York
we had
City.
met before that.
We had met before that. Yes, but you didn't remember me, which
that's
is okay.
Awful. No, that's
no.
Because I hate when people don't remember
And
me.
I
It
want
makes
you
me
to feel
hate
bad
them
about
for forever. Like sometimes somebody doesn't remember me and I'm like, that's fine. But in like 10 years, you're going to really regret that. So it's actually really humbling and important that I hear that. I do that to people too.
I love it. You're like,
If-
it's important.
If I've forgotten you, please let me know because I will apologize. That's awful. Wait, so when was the first time we met?
First time we met, it was at Grizzly Pear Midtown.
One of the worst places. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Well,
I love it there.
No, you crushed, I remember, and I had said hello. And I remember because I knew Brian vaguely. At this point, I know him much better now.
Mhm.
So I was like trying to say hello to you, and I was like still trying to meet people. So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? Like, you're so funny. And you're like, oh, thanks. You gave me the classic, like, you know, waved me off. And you were like, you basically stomped on my hopes and dreams. So
You know what I totally think happened? This is all very illuminating. I'm sure that I thought I bombed because in my head, I've
Oh, that's
never had a good
interesting.
set at Grizzly Pear.
that's really? I've seen
Yeah.
you have great sets there.
No,
That's so
every time I've done
interesting.
a mic there, I leave and I'm like, yeah, maybe it's time for me to retire. Like it's, so I probably was like, and it always makes me really angry at everyone in that particular room because I'm like, it's
Yeah.
just because none of you ever have sex. Like, and it's totally not that at all. But then I just am a bitch, so that's why.
I had that same feeling. I went to a mic in Jersey here. And it's like a new mic. They're just getting started. But one of those, like, remember when you're first starting out and you're
Totally.
like, how does anybody get anything from this? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, it was just god-awful, empty room. Like, nobody laughed at anything. Like, I did, like, my A+ stuff, and it was still nothing. And
People
I
are
was like,
so upset the
I
whole
was-
time.
oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why are any of us here? This is, like,
Yeah.
not helping anybody. But you're so funny, Anna. And thanks for
you.
coming on
That's
the
so sweet. I'm
pod.
sorry I didn't remember you.
No, it's okay.
But
You,
and
you
waved
fucking
you
know
off.
me now.
I know you now. And because you always remember when people don't remember you, but you never remember when you're not remembering
Yeah.
somebody.
Oh, that's so true. But
Yeah.
and then like you feel terrible too because and it's like I don't know if we. I don't feel this way towards you, but it's
Yeah.
like a lot of times you'll develop like an unfair hatred towards that person.
Oh,
'cause they
yeah,
just
of
don't
course.
even-
I
yeah.
have a list of people in my head. There's like
Name
peop-
names. No.
No, but there's just like certain people where I'm like, one time I feel like it's fine. Once it's like 3 times where it's like
That's
we've
when it gets
met,
annoying. Yeah.
you don't know who I am. It's just like you've entered a list of people who I need revenge on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had the thing.
Not like not violent, but just like in living my best life revenge, you know.
Are you a fan of revenge?
No, it's more like, okay, like if you haven't remembered me a few times, like I will think about you at the gym.
Yeah.
Like
You will
I
make me
w-
have a great workout.
Yeah, I will be throwing things with you in mind. Wait, I totally cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I was just my silly question about revenge, but I've had this thing, and again, like totally, I don't, like your like physiological body feels this way, but like intellectually you don't feel this way.
Totally.
But like there's this person I've seen around a few times, and I've always kind of been in the outskirts, and no one's like introduced me, but like it's happened a few times now where it's like I know you. And you haven't even looked at me in this conversation.
Yeah.
And like I've tried to like we've made eye contact
Yeah.
and you've like said nothing.
And it's like you're a person. You're worthy of somebody acknowledging your presence. We
I
all
like
are.
to think
yeah.
so.
The worst is when you're talking to somebody at like a party and you can tell they're like looking a little bit over you to see if there's somebody better to be talking to.
That is so funny.
That's also one of my pet peeves because it is just like I feel this like voracious need to prove that I'm worth talking to, but like I know I'm not. Like then I'll look over my shoulder and be like, that person has X amount more followers than me. That's why. You know what I mean?
God,
It's like yeah.
Do you know what I love about comedy in New York City is you can meet anybody.
You
and
can
like,
meet anyone.
You'll see someone and it's like you just even someone that doesn't make an impression will say, You go on Instagram, 300,000 followers.
And if you have that many followers, I only have love for you. Those are my favorite people.
Those are the people that
you can't trap me on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and everyone's so jealous of them too. And that's what's unfair. It's like we all just want. It's like when somebody's a model, and you're like, it's fucked up that like they're profiting off of being beautiful. It's like we just want to be beautiful too.
Yeah, well that's why I think there's so much anger in men right now too. It's like there's so much of a jealousy there. I was thinking about this the other day, like I don't know if it's like a evolutionary thing or something, but like I had this thought where it's like, do men just feel like threatened, I guess, because a lot of I think at the end of the day it's like these women just don't want to fuck. Men get mad when women don't want to like fuck them, right?
Totally,
like, so it's like that just causes so much anger.
So much anger.
In the
I
male
really
psyche.
do think that women should start sleeping with more men to cure it.
Just fuck these losers, man.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm doing.
Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying?
No, yeah, it does.
Okay,
I'm just
right,
joking. I'm not. It's
I
not
was
what I'm
like
doing. No, but it does make a ton of sense because I do think that there is. Well, men are lonelier now than ever.
Totally.
Because women are getting more education and more financial independence, and so they're not dating as many.
100%. And you know what's interesting too is I've heard. I love Scott Galloway. Do you know him?
Mm-hmm.
I love him, and he said something which I found so true. Being like engaged, is he's like, men get more out of marriage than women do, which like statistically they've interviewed like widows and widowers after, and men are miserable after. And I mean, just thinking about like what having a woman in my life has like brought into it, just in terms of like organizational skills. Like I'm not even talking emotional stability. Just like now I know where my socks are is so like.
And that being said, I'm still looking for love. Yeah, I do feel like in that way it might be more of a man because I never know where my socks are.
Yeah.
Like I think that's my problem is I need a wife.
You just need another woman.
Yeah.
Do you?
Which I guess exists.
Do you like? I don't know. This is probably a stupid question, but like I feel like I don't know because every generation I feel like says dating is so hard now, but I do feel like now it's just exponentially harder because. I mean, like, obviously dating apps and stuff like that, but, like, Anna, what's been your experience with dating in New York City?
What's been my experience dating in New York City? Well, I actually feel like people have I've been hearing a lot of dating app success stories.
Yeah, well, it's...
Like, my brother's fiance, who's amazing, they met on Hinge.
Oh, cool, okay.
Zoran met his wife, whose name I can't remember, on Hinge.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. My thing with the apps.
Yes.
Right? I met my fiance in real life.
Which is really impressive and a
so
sign of innate charm.
Yeah,
and practice charm. Yeah.
And practice charm. No, I just like, obviously there are success stories and stuff, but like, I think it just discourages people from like going out and like trying to meet new people and make
That's
those, like,
true.
You know, because it's just like, you get, because my brother and I were having this conversation earlier this week. It's like, there's so much cheap dopamine out there.
Yeah.
And not to say that it can't work, because obviously it does. It's just like, it's just so much harder now because it's like, why would I go talk to this person at this bar if I can just like go on my phone and like meet
also,
someone?
I think people are really afraid of being weird or being too much.
That is a big thing.
And I think that like that's one of the things that stand up has helped me with the most is just my level. The amount of humiliation I can tolerate is so freeing.
Were you, can you talk more about that? Because were you someone who was always afraid that you were too much?
Well, have you know Carly Polostina, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, love
yeah.
Carly. She's one of my best friends. But like a year ago, we were eating dinner, and I said to her something like, well, you know, I'm really shy. And she started laughing for like 5 minutes. And she was like, there are few people who are shy. Like, you're like, sorry. She was like, you're the least shy person I know, was basically what she said to me. She was like, what do you, like, your perception of self is so off from who you actually are if you think you're shy.
That's so interesting.
And then I started thinking about it, and I had like a montage of me like walking into rooms, me like, hi. But I think because I used to be really shy.
Yeah.
As like a kid.
Yes.
And like, I think up until 22, I was painfully shy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All throughout college you were shy?
Throughout college, well, I've always been really shy off stage, and then on stage I could put it on, but I was still pretty timid. But like until I reached my low point, I was very shy and very self-conscious all the time.
Sure.
So then after that, I think I just had a full personality switch, but it's like I'm dysmorphic about my personality.
That's
where
so interesting.
in my head I'm like, I'm really shy and I'm really quiet and I'm just like in a corner, and then it's just not how I am at all. Like, yeah.
It's so reminiscent because I had Ari Findling on this podcast, and he said to me, because we were talking about like everyone has their look like joke, right? I look like XYZ. And I told him mine, and it's about I don't do it anymore, but it was just how I like I'm Jewish or whatever, but like my last name's Penna, and like nobody sees the Jewish side. And he goes, "No, I see you as like possibly Hispanic." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, you're an olive-skinned man." Like
you read as very Jewish.
Yeah, So he was just like very like. But I had that moment too, where I was like, "Am I?" But it's so interesting because like we change so much over time.
So hard to see who we are. Accurately. It's like impossible.
Do you have anybody in your life that'll like Carly? I guess maybe is the answer to the question, but that you can like sort of reflect that back.
Well, I'd say I have a lot of really amazing friends who I am not going to list because that will get me in trouble because I will forget somebody, because I was about to start being like this person that I instantly thought of whose feelings would get hurt. But so I have a lot of friends who are really good at keeping like track, like checking what I'm saying. But I'd say like the person, I was actually talking to one of my friends about this the other day, of how I feel like we have people who are like markers of our life who we can kind of use as mirrors throughout. And like for me, that person's my older brother. Like,
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, he's my best friend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
and he, more than anyone, and sometimes to a fault, will say, but in a sibling way, like exactly what he thinks.
Yeah.
And it's very and I can do that to him too, because there's so much trust already there.
That's so sweet. You guys were like always close growing up? Did you ever have like any tension or anything?
No, he really wanted a little sister.
That is so I have
I'm very, very lucky.
I have that reaction just 'cause like when it's that's like so wholesome.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting is like that's the exact opposite relationship I had with my siblings growing up.
Really?
Yeah, and like what's funny now is like my younger brother and I are super close now.
Yeah.
So like before the pandemic we got super close, but before the pandemic, like, and I'm not proud of this, like I would see him in high school, I would completely ignore him. I would be like I was so embarrassed of him.
Well, it's like a reflection of you.
Exactly. Well, that's what I said during the
you
pandemic.
You can't control it.
Exactly. And I was like, because during the pandemic we smoked a lot of weed together.
That's amazing. And
that
fixed it.
Well, it was and some other things. Which if you come see the solo show in the fall, you're gonna.
I'm
find
gonna
out
be
about.
there.
She is. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But basically, like we had this event happen in our life, and it brought us closer together. And I was sobbing to him. I said it wasn't. I literally said to him, "It was not about you. It was about I was insecure with
and
myself."
And that's so much of all of it.
Yes,
is how you're insecure with yourself. But I think with my brother, he really my personality is like his personality. Like I just stole everything from him. Like his AIM name was Pearl Clyde, and then my AIM name was Little Pearl Clyde.
That's
like
adorable.
Like he always says I'm his Frankenstein monster. Aww. So I think like but like he's great.
Is he a comedian as well?
No, he's different from me in the sense that like he went to Harvard and is like very smart in that type of way.
I have a very smart older brother too.
Yeah. But we talk all the time. But he and I, like, I can judge moments of my life like through the conversations we've had at different times, and he's always been like able to see me more than I can see myself, and see what I'm capable of more than I can.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, it's so important, like, because it takes so long, I feel like, to develop those relationships too. And it's like, I don't know, because I'm going to be 30 in February. And just like when I think about the relationships in my life, it's so hard to, one, develop new relationships, like find these new friendships. And I have like to, some extent, but it's really that longevity, I think, that really like you're saying, it's you get so much out of it, and that's so beautiful. You guys are so close.
Yeah.
Do you like having a smarter older brother? I don't mean smarter, but just I'm
no,
assuming.
No, I was thinking like, I've had phases where I've been like, well, 'cause I have really bad dyslexia.
Oh, I did not know that, but I will say it makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense, doesn't
I
it?
see it only because I see a lot of Instagram stories.
Yeah,
of,
well,
like,
it's very confusing because, like, I have a MFA in, like, fiction writing and read a ton, but I can't spell anything.
Oh, but you can still like read okay.
I'm a very fast reader.
Wow.
I can, like, fly through reading, whatever. Like, it took time, but, like, and I'm a really great writer. But, like, I truly, for the life of me, cannot spell. And people will always slide up and correct my spelling, and it's like, it's not gonna. The amount of tutors I've had, if they couldn't.
Oh my god.
I went to a school for kids with disabilities for a little bit.
I didn't know that.
I did. I was the smartest one there, but. But I did. But yeah, I'm like, so I think with my older brother, that as a kid was very frustrating because it was like, why are you able to do everything?
Yes.
And what's wrong with me that I can't?
That
Yeah,
makes sense. So it was
yeah.
the comparison in that way. Did you see did you think about strengths that you had that maybe he didn't have and that made you feel
So
better?
like my brother is a little short.
How tall is he?
He's like a perfect height, totally. But we don't need to get into numbers. But I just say like in the genetics that definitely. Which by the way, for a girl doesn't matter. But I feel like height.
I feel like some girls are tall, right?
I'm very tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10",
Okay.
which is very tall for a girl.
But it doesn't bother you.
It
Not that it should. I'm just
No, but I'm saying like it's not like I have inches that he could have easily taken.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I could be a little better at spelling. Like if we were restructuring genes.
Talk about
which is a game we used to play.
Really?
Well, we'd do like because I have a lot of things wrong with me. So we'd be like, how many inches would he take for my ailments?
It's so funny because like so many men would be like, all of them. I don't care. Just give me everything.
Well, like my peanut allergy, I think he'd take like 3 inches for a peanut allergy.
Really? I would take that for an inch if I'm being honest. Even
yeah,
that,
exactly.
I like honestly, that's not bad.
No, we once were spending the entire day like playing this game. I was probably like 12, and then at the end of the day, my mom came to me and she was like, "That game makes me really sad. Like, do you think your brother feels that bad about his height?" I was like, "That's your takeaway."
Oh, your mom seems so intuitive. That's like
so
very,
intuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we've talked about my dyslexia, my peanut allergy, like a million other things. She's like, "Oh, his height. How will he be okay?"
It's like such like a boy mom thing. They're just like, oh, constantly. Yeah. It's so because I think about that too. My older brother's taller too. I'm the shortest one. My younger brother, I used to be the most attractive sibling, and I like
fall from grace.
Fall from grace. My younger brother, good looking cat now.
Is he single?
He is single. He's single. He's a nurse.
Oh.
Ladies. Let me see if I can show you a picture of him. I don't really have too many good pictures of him, but I'll find it later.
But he's hotter than you think he's hotter than you.
He is, and for a few reasons. So like
okay.
I used to work out a ton. I used to be like very in like great shape, and I'm like starting to get back into it now.
Yeah.
But he got very skinny. My older brother used to be like very heavy.
Okay.
And so he like worked on himself, did whatever. He's not only like, and not that the weight element is everything. But
no,
like,
speak freely. Yeah.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you for giving me that permission.
You have everything you've said. You've been like, and being tall is good for some and bad for others.
Can you tell I'm anxious?
Yeah.
But no, so he lost a lot of weight and he grew his hair out and he just came into himself as a young man, and he's more sure of himself than he was, and he's because the word that triggers him is weird. Like, so
he doesn't want to be weird.
Does not want to be weird because I think he was bullied for that a lot when he was growing up.
That's really hard.
So I know, and it's and he's not socially weird or anything.
I mean, we're all like the best people are weird.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think he picked up a little bit of his social charm from me.
I'm sure.
But he, it's contagious. But yeah, he's very, very handsome now, and to the point, I was mad. We were at my mom's 60th surprise birthday party, and all the nurses
your
were
mom.
like, "Yep."
Or happy birthday is the correct way to say that.
Happy congrats.
I forgot that happy birthday was a concept. I'm like, congratulations to her on making it another year.
After a certain age, it is that.
Oh,
you're
but
not
60's
wrong.
not that age.
I know.
congrats to her on making it that far.
Oh, she listens. So,
Yeah.
Mom, I love you.
No, you're super
She-
young. Yeah.
But we're at her 60th birthday party, and all of her nursing friends were like, "Oh my God, your son!" And I thought they were talking about me,
That's
and
brutal.
they weren't.
How did you find
Oh,
out?
she told me after, because we were all. It was the day
That's
after, and
so
it was
cruel.
like with Nick and me in the room, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, me," and she goes, "No, they were talking about him." And I was like,
How
"Oh
did
my
he
God."
react to that?
He's in what a hot person should do, which is like it doesn't phase him. You know,
Which
he's
only
like,
makes him hotter.
"That's right. That's what
Fuck.
happens." I know,
Yeah.
but he's
Sorry, I probably shouldn't curse on this.
and he's very. I know. No, you can. It's fine.
Damn.
He's very sweet though, because I don't know if he'll be okay with me telling the story, but whatever. It'll be a test to see if he listens.
Ooh.
But he, I know,
Yeah.
he took an older lady out to like dinner, and
Okay.
a very nice restaurant, did whatever, walked her home, that kind of thing.
Classy.
And yeah, it was like very nice. And I think there was an age gap that she told him like, "Hey, I just don't think this will work out full term." And he was like really disappointed about it, but like just a very gentleman, did whatever.
Right.
He's like, he put a lot of thought into the restaurant, which I liked. He's like, "I want it to be good. I want it to say," so it's good. He's got to find a lady.
Oh, so he's this recently happened.
This happened. That date was like a few years ago. I think he doesn't talk to girls about.
He
with
sounds
me.
a little weird.
Trigger.
No. Yeah, I feel like a lot of men are actually into older women. I don't know if your mom will
Anna,
appreciate
if
that.
you knew
but
me before Taylor.
I was gonna
Oh
say
my
you
God.
you and your brother both like an older lady.
Oh, we do. I did. I've told you that story. I
Yeah, I was
think
gonna say it's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, the story we're referencing. It's the eye doctor one or the boat cruise one.
I was talking
think
about the
both.
eye doctor.
The eye doctor one's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, that was.
And the boat cruise. I
the
mean,
boat
you have.
cruise. I have a
You
few-
were slutty in an incredible way.
I was, and I think about that a lot now,
Really.
because it's.
Do you think
like,
it allows you to commit more?
Yes.
That's
oh,
awesome.
I'm so happy you said that, because I used to, and I'm not proud of this. I've cheated on partners too.
Really.
I feel very guilty about that too, but it was always, I will say, in my defense, it was always a symptom of. We always broke up.
Yeah.
2
Well,
months
no, I
after.
mean that's often it's a symptom of the.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it was never something where I was like hiding an affair or something like that. But it just, I've cheated on 2 partners, I think, and we broke up like a few months after.
Right.
But I'm so glad you said that, because what those things taught me was, one, to be aware of signs that when signs are going that way.
Right.
You know
Look
what I mean?
around.
Yeah, like look around, like what's
Yeah.
going on, what's the path I'm down that's going
Right.
to lead me to
what
that.
makes me do this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety and guilt I felt after, I think, is kind of essential now, because I think it's very easy for men in long-term relationships to get distracted.
Yeah.
So for me, I have that fear, because now that I'm with my person,
Right.
I don't think I could live with myself if I did that.
That's
that
amazing.
makes sense.
That's
So
so
it's a-
beautiful.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
but it's like one of those things. I think what's hard for men, we're like talking about it, like I think it's very hard for men to have an outlet that teaches them that and how to deal with those feelings,
Right.
because the outlets they have and what they go to are so like, the aggressiveness of it, right? Obviously not to, Joe Rogan is huge with men, and things like that, but it's like, because they like it. He's aggressive. He's a hunter, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, and I have those feelings too as a man, but it's like, I think it's about learning how to like deal with those. And
I also don't
that
think
kind of
that
thing.
like anger is. I think we've like villainized anger.
yeah,
I think a lot of like behavior comes from not allowing ourselves to feel anger.
That's-
So
yeah.
instead we just act
Yeah.
instead of sitting with the feeling, because like the feeling itself isn't bad. It's the
Yeah.
actions.
yes, you're,
Yeah.
you're,
But it's hard to tolerate bad feelings.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think like, especially with like, I think so many like father figures, like I know with my dad too, with like growing up watching him, how he dealt with anger. Like I still catch myself like doing that. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And it's like,
Or it's not just anger, it's like sadness also. Like
yes, so many.
we're feeling
yeah.
inadequate, and then it's like, okay, well, how do I make this feeling go away? I'll sleep with somebody random.
Exactly.
But then you just, and it does for a minute, but then I'm sure you felt a ton of shame and horrible after.
oh my God, so many
and
times.
guilty. Yeah.
And we also have it like in our culture, I feel like for men, where it's like your value, a lot of times, or a lot of men get their value from sleeping with women, from
Yeah.
playing around, you know what I mean? And it's like, I did that for a while, and I
course.
felt horrible after, like most, like, it
Yeah.
didn't fill me with anything.
And it's like, it's since we're not taught and we don't know how to just sit with the emotion, we have to act. But then
Yes.
eventually you realize like, oh, it actually just makes me feel worse. But it takes a lot of you know,
it takes a
making
lot
these
of
choices.
exactly. And that's like, you know, and not that it can't work with men, but like I do think it's good, and I don't want to just hold men to it. I think it's healthy for like men and women to like explore that, like especially in their 20s and 30s and stuff like that. Like, I think it's important to like, you know, hook up with people and like do explore, because you get to know yourself better that way, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's like now that I've had those experiences, it's like I don't have the urge to cheat on Taylor. Like I love
Of
her
course,
so much,
yeah.
but it's like I know that like I know how that plays out in my head, if that makes
Right.
sense. Where it's like if I ever have that impulse or to do whatever, one, I don't want to hurt her in that
No,
way.
of course,
but it's
because we
also-
all have impulses. And
Exactly.
it's like sometimes you have to see the result of the impulse,
Totally.
depending on the
Yes.
impulse, to
Yes.
know not to do it again.
And of course, it's not great that like I hurt people in that way, but I hope that
But we're also all growing
Exactly.
and people.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So this was really to get that off my chest. So I'm happy. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
No, I was gonna say no. I feel like like I don't know. I feel like sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to say
No.
this, but like so many artists, I think, but also people just feel a lot of shame over like being a person, which means being fallible. So it's
Yes.
like,
oh my god.
yeah, you're allowed to do shitty things and not be a bad person,
Yeah,
because we all do.
Yeah, and that is
Yeah.
so, God, because especially now where it's like, I don't know, we have this standard of like not being able to make mistakes, I think, and it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, because I
The self-regulate, like the monitorization is like really hard to always be trying to be perfect all of the time. Eventually
Oh.
makes anyone snap.
and it's
And
exhausting.
then we have it's
yeah.
exhausting, and you have no recourse of what you're supposed to do when you mess up because you feel so ashamed. Like it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
actually help anyone.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been cheated on or no?
I've never been cheated on, and I've never cheated. Not to dunk on you after
Gold
saying all those
star.
nice things.
You're
but
like, you're not a horrible person.
because I'm not a really bad person. No, I've never done anything like that. I've always been I've also I've had people. I've always broken up with somebody before
Yeah,
it got to that point.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to get into your low point?
Yeah, let's
I
get
kinda
now that I've
wanna-
said point, let's
Yeah,
get
I
into
lo-
my low
oh, it's
point.
fanta- No,
Yeah.
you had such a perfect transition earlier in this episode, and I like completely steamrolled it because I was like, no, we're not there. No, 'cause I was like,
No,
we'll
I
talk
didn't
about
even
this.
try to transition it.
But you did it so perfectly, and we were
Oh.
having such a lovely chat. I like didn't want to interrupt it, and it was trying to be the perfect
See,
person talking.
you're so hard on yourself.
I really am, and it's something like we will get to the low point, but I do, because you're saying so many things that are just like popping up in my head.
Yeah.
I think one of the great things about having Taylor in my life too is I have this wonderful person who loves me, like despite the thing. She is a great reminder too. She will say like, you're being too hard on yourself
Yeah.
as well. And it's like, we talked about, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this reminds me of my answer to your earlier question about dating apps.
Yeah.
I was talking to two of my friends who are in like really long-term wonderful relationships, and I was asking them about like the start of their relationships. When they described the start of their relationships, they were like the messiest hookup situations that ended up with them being together. And it made me think like we have this expectation on dating right now where it's like if you wanted to, he would, like divine
Yeah.
femininity, like let him chase you, blah blah blah. And it's like people are actually very messy and mess up.
100. But we almost broke up. Taylor and I did.
Really?
Well, the first few months we almost broke up.
There
Yeah.
you go. Everyone I know who's like happily in a long-term relationship had like something weird in the beginning.
Yeah.
But the rhetoric around dating right now is so sanitized because I think there's so many choices
Yes.
that it's like, well, if this person isn't showing up exactly how you want them to and being this like perfect person that you've imagined in your head, and if their dick doesn't work in any way, or like they can't like get you off a million, like it's like all of these expectations.
Yes.
That it's like, well, people are also just like human and flawed.
100%.
But then also you should have high expectations for the person you're with. and
Yes,
that's
but
the
also
balance. I don't know.
100%. But like, and this is, I'm actually glad you said that in that way, because like the thing with dating apps is like, I think you're filtering out based on like the wrong characteristics,
Say
right?
more.
Because they're
Yeah.
they're all physical, and I think
Yeah.
I've said this to you before. it's a running joke with Taylor that I have to stop saying this on the podcast, but she's not my traditional physical
Which is
type.
so funny because Taylor's like the most beautiful
And
person.
she's so hot. Like
When
she's
you
so
first said that to me, I was picturing somebody totally different. And then I met Taylor and I was like, you mean this beautiful skinny girl? Like,
oh my god, like she is so beautiful.
yeah.
And it is also nice. The advantage to meeting someone in person is I did have that moment when I saw her where I was like, oh my god. And I
Yeah.
think, so it was like, it's something I wouldn't have gotten on an app. But like one of the things like I think about all the time, and Taylor has in my defense, right? So I say that Taylor says if she saw me on a dating app, she would not have swiped right. So that's another thing people need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
My profile was ridiculous though. I had my Eagle Scout picture up there at one point, like
That's
like
iconic.
a dweeb.
Yeah.
I'll show you it after. It's like
Please.
a Halloween photo of me posing. But we basically, I was like, there were moments, right? And she would say that too, where it's like we weren't sure if it was going to work, but the reason we kept pushing through and was like, let's see where this goes, is because I think we both realized the really important stuff was there. That she's had this incredible heart, that she is beautiful, that and
Wow.
not that that's the what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but that she that we laughed all the time and
That's
that we had such a
amazing.
great time. So it's just like if we focused on the
Did he book the perfect restaurant?
well that
Yeah.
but that was all part of it.
Yeah.
And I did play. This is why the dating games are like a little like there's a purpose for like where they came from, because like the day after we met, she was like, why isn't he texting me? It was like the morning, whatever. But I did text her. I waited till the afternoon.
That's good. You didn't seem
I
desperate.
didn't want to seem desperate because if I had, I think she would have whatever. And the big thing with her too is because I'm a slut, we didn't sleep together for our first few dates. Not that that's, again, I know stories
But she
of
didn't
couples-
want to.
She didn't want to, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
Classy girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, and not to say, I know they're...
Matt!
I know. Well, I know couples that...
Take a stance.
I'm spineless.
No, but again, like I was talking to this girl, this friend of mine, and she was saying that like her partner and her started out just like hooking up casually
Yeah.
for like a summer. They just would hook up casually, and then they ended up now like they're engaged. And I'm like, you would just hook up casually? Like that was it. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
now I'm like, well, if you don't want to do then you're not taking me seriously. So why would I ever? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the reason it worked in my case, because there
Yeah.
are cases like that 100% it
Yeah.
works. I think in my case where I was in my life was, one, I did have this moment, and I remember sitting in my bedroom. This is super corny and cheesy, but I actually
Aw.
did a meditation to like manifest
Love,
love and stuff
Wait,
like
that's
that.
beautiful.
Well, yeah, but also like I hate the way people use the term manifest now, because I think there is something to manifesting something, but it has to change action. Like you need to set that in your mind so that your actions change.
It has to become part of your identity.
Exactly. So I had done that, and I was going out on more dates. I was taking risks at bars, like trying to talk to women and stuff like that. But I think where I was in my life in terms of like the sleeping together thing was, I think the reason it was important for me that she, made me wait is like I had, at that point, I think if we had slept together right away, I maybe wouldn't have considered it to have been a long-term thing
Right.
because of all the hooking up I was doing at the time. If
You
that
would have
makes
devalued
sense.
it.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is totally fair.
Yes, and obviously.
Did you like hook up, or did you just kiss on the street and nothing?
Well, it's a funny.
You also
argument.
don't have to share.
No, it's okay. No.
Me taking
She-
notes.
What-
Was it a blowjob to completion?
Where exactly is the line here?
Yeah.
So we did first night. She wouldn't kiss me first night. I know. I didn't even get a smooch.
She was like, maybe next time.
Yeah, she was like, maybe next time.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
she left early.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for her.
Oh God, she was. Yeah, it was so funny too, because she was like, by the end of the night, she was telling me she was obsessed with chickens and like whatever, and I
Aw.
was like, this girl's weird. So second date.
So it
took
can
her-
be a good thing
s-
being weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I gotta tell Nick.
Nick, if
but-
you're listening.
So
It's
we
okay.
we actually lived 1 block away from each other in Hoboken, which is crazy. But so we went to this restaurant around the corner, had a lovely dinner, and then it's very funny because I thought a girl walked in and I thought it was her because I forgot what she. By the way, she's not big on social media. That was
Okay.
another thing.
Mhm.
So I didn't
And
have
you
any.
met her in like a bar,
And I met her in a bar,
so it's dark.
so it was dark. Yeah. And then but we hung out for like the rest of the night or whatever. But this other girl with red hair walks in, and I was like, and it like wasn't her. And I was like, all right. So we had dinner and drinks that night. She was like very rushed at the end of the night, so she was like, I walked her home because
Yeah.
it's literally right there, and she goes, I had such a great time. Okay, bye. And then she like came in, like she was like Like she swooped in, like before I could think, and she kissed me, and then she's like, "Okay, good night," and then she turned away and like went upstairs.
This is your second date or your first date?
This was the first date.
So you did kiss, but it was like a very quick kiss.
I'm sorry. Yes, first date we kiss, not the night we met.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did that, and then
it wasn't like a passionate kiss. It was
yes, it wasn't like a steamy.
It was just like I'm kissing you and then I'm leaving.
Yes, but it was like I'm thinking
that's amazing.
Perfect amount of steam for a 5-second kiss.
Right. So because you knew that what could come in the future was
right.
promising.
Yes, exactly.
Incredible.
And it was funny. I didn't ask to come up because she left so fast.
Yeah, she didn't give you the time.
Yeah,
she's just like, bye.
She's like, okay, bye. And then like we
Yeah.
left. So we did that. And then second date, we went to the Frying Pan in New York City. So that was a lot of fun. We walked around, went back to my apartment.
Yeah.
And then the third date.
But you still hadn't had sex.
Still hadn't had sex.
Okay.
But,
You did
some other stuff. Not what you're thinking, but some other stuff.
Yeah, you read to each other.
Yeah, we did. 3 books.
3 nice.
Long hang.
Really long books.
And then third date, I took her out for a picnic.
Aw.
So it was fun. Yeah.
And then did you have sex on the third date?
Third date we did, 'cause she goes. We're walking home, and we split a bottle of wine, and she goes, "Do you have condoms?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got them." She's like, "All right, let's go."
That's amazing.
So it was very fun.
My thing about the third date is sleeping with somebody on a third date feels, no offense, Taylor, very cliche.
I know, and we talk about it. We talk about it all the time.
Because I'm like, at that point, it's have
boring.
to wait 5.
Yeah, it's
because it's just so predictable.
Yes. Well, that was the thing. It was like very like.
And I hate to be predictable.
I know. The good thing with us was after that third date, we don't distinctly remember going on any other dates. We were just hanging out.
You were just like in love.
Yeah,
That's also what happens.
Yeah.
You just fall into each other sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, we weren't just in love because we had that fight like after.
Right, of course. This is what gets erased.
Yeah.
What was the fight? I guess you don't have to get into it.
I'm trying to think of a way I can explain it without giving away too much info.
Basically, you just almost broke up and then you didn't.
Exactly.
Because you knew that,
I'll tell you
See
off mic.
Yeah.
Little off mic mention.
But I do think that's the thing, is that most relationships aren't perfect from the very second they begin.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't allow it for the reasons that we talked about before with dating culture, and it's like, they have to check every box. It's like if you don't let it breathe, you're never going to see like what it can be.
Exactly.
So I love it so much. And speaking of breakups, Anna, we are going to get into your low point today.
My low point, yes.
I always ask the guest to text it to me beforehand, and I can't lie to you, I laughed out loud when you sent me mine. You texted me that your low point was you were kicked out of clown college.
Do you want to just read what I said?
Yes, can I? Oh my God. Perfect.
After I sent it, I thought, I hope it didn't sound bitchy.
No, not at all. No,
okay,
I would never take it that way. Here we go. Okay, you said, I think maybe the time I got expelled from clown school, my boyfriend dumped me, and my grandpa died all in 1 week when I was 22. Question mark.
I was like, and then I think I said, I can think of others if you want.
That's what you said, and I low-key, because I always want the guest to be comfortable, I was like, you don't have to talk to it, but can we please talk about this one? So, I mean, let's just start with clown college, right? So this was 22 this week happens. What is clown college? Can you talk to us like about
Well, what I'd say about low points is that I think like the actual low point takes like a bunch of decisions to get to.
Yes, agreed.
So like the low point was that week, but that week started, I'd say maybe when I was like bored. Like
you've just been on a constant downhill.
Up until that point, I've just been slowly like leading. It was like maybe more of like a sphere. Like I just kept twisting and twisting and twisting until I got there. I was like, something needs to change. But so I think it was like a bunch of, my childhood. That's the great thing about childhood, is that you can always blame anything on it. Sometimes like I'll get to the end of a thought spiral and I'll be like, what? And ultimately that's because I was once a kid. It's like, so I'm forgiven. But yeah, basically, so when I got to college, I'm trying to think how I can tell all this without getting in trouble, but whatever.
Whatever.
You only live once. But so when I was in college, I became friends with this lovely group of girls, and if they ever want to be my friend again, I'm still here. But not really. No, I'm
Desperate.
desperate. No, I do not want your affection.
She's
and I'm
looking right
over
into
it.
camera.
If you invite me to your wedding next summer, I will come, but
But only if I get a +1.
oh no, only if I'm invited. I will not crash it. Has the thought crossed my mind? Should I? No, I wouldn't. And by the way, congratulations. I've been wondering if I should write. So I became friends with these girls. They were I had started college in a way where I felt like I really needed friends, and I didn't know how to get friends without just like performing as the most perfect person I possibly could.
Okay.
So
And this is before clown college. So you went to a school before clown college?
yeah, so I did go to a normal college.
A non-clown college.
Yeah, this is like this is the foreshadow.
Gotcha. Okay, so go ahead.
So basically, I was friends with all these girls. They were very like cool. They were really cool, and I was like, I can totally be chill too. And like not care, you know. And then I thought that I was gonna, at the end of college, move and live with them.
Okay.
I had been dating somebody for a really long time in college, and then we broke up like at the beginning of my senior year. And then I started dating somebody else, and he was French. And yeah.
I'm like
Don't need to say much more.
you're like, I peaked.
I peaked. No. But yeah, he was French. And basically at the end of college, my like 6 best friends for all of college, I thought we were all going to move. We were all living together. I thought we were all going to move to Chicago together.
Okay.
And then I overheard them talking about the lease they were signing in Chicago without me.
All 5 without you?
Well, one of them was still a junior,
Okay.
but the rest of them without me.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And I was like, what is this lease situation? And then one of them said to me, I'm so sorry, I should have talked to you about this sooner. There's just something unplaceable about you. I can't stand being around anymore. Your face, zoom in on your face. Yeah.
They said that to you?
Something unplaceable. And then I begged them to place it because I was like, well, I just need to know. If you tell me what it is, I can change it. What is the thing? I'll change whatever the thing is. Is it this thing? Is it this thing? Is this thing? And she just was like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just unplaceable. I think what it was I had never really let myself pursue in college, like pursue art.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started dating the French guy and I broke up with my boyfriend and like I was trying to like find myself, whatever, and he was like, you love to write, you should be writing. And he was an artist, and I was like, oh, I should embrace this side of myself that I've never allowed myself to like fully embrace because it always whatever. And I think they really found comedy to be like cringe. And one of them had said to me, it's amazing that you do improv. She said, it's amazing that you're so okay with not being hot, that you're willing to do improv, which kind of bars. But
what?
So I think that was a lot. There was also this like
this is good.
this big like it was so cinematic, but there was this like really big like windstorm and like all these trees knocked down like all over campus, and I was like walking with one of them through the the broken trees, and she was like, I just can't believe that like you don't care about the world so much that like you want to just like go pursue your silly little like comedy, like podcast comedy dreams, whatever, God. Like, and you don't care about like the state of the world, and you just like want to go like make art. It's like, what are you doing, smoking weed? Like,
yeah, like what?
Yeah. But no, actually, and here's what's rough, she's doing amazing work. Sometimes I check their LinkedIns and she is helping people, let me just say. She's actually her feet are on the floor. I don't know if that's an expression, but that is what she's doing. She actually, I think, day to day is making a bigger impact than me as I go to my open mics. But I do think that was probably like at the core unplaceable thing. Again, congratulations on the engagement. Basically, I'll get back to that. Anyway, so I find out about this lease, and then my boyfriend, the French guy, and I are talking. Obviously a bad time for me, and he tells me that he wants to move back to France
Mm-hmm.
to attend this really prestigious clown school, which
God.
I think was his way of being like, I want to break up with you.
Okay.
But at that point, it was my final hope. Like, everything else was crumbling. And I was like, that's crazy. I also have always really wanted to go to clown school. Which I think was like, I was like, it's not that easy to break up with me. Like, you're, if that's your dream, it's my dream too. I can
We are
have
a
anyone's dream. Exactly. If your dream's to move to Chicago, that's my dream. If your dream's to go to clown school, that's my. I mean, I was just looking for a dream.
Oh
you
my
know?
God. What if he was like, there's something unplaceable
Well,
about
I
you?
would have killed myself. Like, I mean, ultimately, that is what kind of happened in like the bigger picture foreshadow. But
So you went to clown school to follow this guy. Not
yeah,
to
I
make
did
you
like
sound
no, I did Legally Blonde, but like clown. Like, it was like
legally brunette.
yeah, legally brunette and like deeply unhinged. But and I will say the only person who tried to stop me circling back was my older brother. Was like, what?
Wow. Okay. So and I'm curious too. Like, how did your family take that? Like,
My
when you told
parents
them?
are like artists, and they were just
so
like,
they were like, you fucking go.
They
do
were
it.
like, that's iconic.
They were like, we're coming with you.
yeah. Like, my mom was like, I think got off on telling people her daughter was going to clown school. She was like, I love seeing the faces of the women at Soul Cycle when I tell them. Like, it wasn't. But I remember my brother being like, what? Come again?
Oh.
But also I was like, I want to do comedy, and none of these girls embraced that I want to do comedy. So going to clown school is actually me showing them, because you convince yourself you're doing it for you, because like as a 21st century woman, you can't say you're doing anything for a guy. So you're like, I'm doing this for me and my dreams, So he also was from France and had an apartment in France that was like,
Okay, so you were gonna live with him.
oh yeah.
Okay.
So I lived with this guy I'd been dating for 6 months in his apartment in France, and we attended clown school. And now I don't know if you know that much about French clown school, but like the way that it works is that like you have a drum in your lap. The way that it works is there's a clown master. He's this guy is was at the time the last living clown master.
The last one.
The last one, allegedly.
Okay. He's like the headmaster of the school?
The headmaster of like clowning.
Of clowning. Wow.
But also of the school itself.
Okay, gotcha.
He's very renowned.
Okay.
He sits with the drum in his lap, and he makes you get on stage and do things. And if he doesn't like those things, he will hit the drum, insult you, and tell you to sit down. And it's like every day for like 8 hours. And the insults get so extreme. Like, I don't know if I can say them on this podcast. I'll say them, but you can maybe edit it.
This is like wait. So this is like class. So you show up to class.
Yeah.
Like, and
you show up to class and they like make you get on stage and do something, and if like they don't like how you lift your foot when you go to take a step on stage, they'll be like, it seems like you were raped as a child and never got over it. Like, it's just like the craziest shit possible.
Do you want me to edit that?
No, I mean, you can.
Okay.
It's up to you.
I that is crazy.
That's like a quote from this guy. Like, just like like the most insane shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like 8 hours a day
Oh my
of
God.
just like, and the idea is that like you can be humiliated to a point where like your ego breaks and you're past the point of humiliation and you're completely free on stage.
Oh my God.
But like everybody else was like a hardcore theater person. Like even my boyfriend at the time was like a theater major, like wanted to be a clown, was like his actual dream. And I was just there like, I'm shy. Like,
oh my. So.
and I had to love it, because at that point it was like, no, I'm going for me. I love it here. I love doing this, and this is my dream. And none of what is being said upsets me at all, because I also just was so dissociated that I was like, he can say whatever he wants to. I mean, he would like have people stand on stage, and he'd be like, you'd do something unfunny, and he'd be like, that was so bad. Does anyone here want to fuck him? And then no one would raise his hand, and he'd be like, see, nobody wants to fuck you. You're unfuckable. Like, just like the craziest shit.
Oh my God. So now. And you went up at some point. Wait, can you?
You're forced to go up.
Right. What did he ask you to do? Do you remember anything or?
Yeah, it would be like. It's also like all this stuff is so stupid. So it's like you are an egg, and then like you'd be like an egg. You'd be like, I don't believe you are the egg, and it's like I don't, because I'm like a girl and not an egg. But then it wouldn't just be like you don't seem like you're an egg. It would be like, you don't seem like you're an egg, so like you must have a boyfriend who wants to stab you to death at night. Like it's like any sort of way, if you're gay, it's all about you being
Right.
gay. If you're from any background, like, it's and the like idea is like the audience will say all this stuff to you, so you're like getting it said to you so you can be completely free.
Right.
I also think that like it's a level of cruelty that like we're trained to tolerate, kind of with no purpose, maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's hard because I also did get like so much out.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of the, like, I do understand the purpose of, like, especially, you must find value in it now that you're on stage, right?
Unfortunately,
I
every
bet,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I bet. 'Cause you might, yeah. So you're in France, you're going to this class every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about. And, like, what's the relationship like with this French guy?
Well, okay. I'm like, he probably won't be happy about me talking about this.
We don't have to if you don't.
No, we can talk about it. I might
Yeah.
edit stuff out later.
No worries, just let me
But
know.
I will answer honestly, and then if we go back.
Perfect.
It was hard because I understand now with like time from his perspective, it must have been maddening to live with me, because it would be like I would just get so humiliated and I'd be like, it's whatever. And he was actually like struggling with it. And I think that I had very much of a like, if this old clown guy wants to say this to me, why the fuck would I care? What does he know? And it's like, that's my defense mechanism. 'Cause like, obviously I like wanted.
This is so funny because it's like his dream to go to like clown college, and you are beating him at clown college.
Oh, I was better than him. I think that's like a big part of it. It's like,
You just had more talent.
and I don't like it. Yeah, maybe that's what just moxie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just. Okay,
And
so
so
he's like
it
dealing
was-
with that and then living.
And
with the
also
other-
I think it was because I think like we don't, like to the point you were saying, like men don't really have an outlet besides their girlfriends a lot of the time to talk about their emotions. And so then if your girlfriend's just like, oh, you feel sad? I don't. It's maddening. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So totally responsible for that.
Love you, Ty.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you feel sad.
Yeah.
That's like
Me every-
weird. Yeah. I'm a woman and I don't feel sad, and we're the emotional ones. Weird. Maybe I'm more of the man. Like, it's not what you want.
So is he like slowly starting to like resent you at this point, and like?
Yeah, and like, so I did the ex drinking buddies podcast a while ago, and my ex-boyfriend listened and got really mad at me for that
Oh, wow.
podcast.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not the right way to phrase it. The responsible way to phrase it would be, I really hurt his feelings in doing that podcast.
Because.
Because he felt like I made it seem like the reason we broke up was the rest of the story that I can tell, when really he wanted to break up with me, according to him, because he wanted to sleep with other people.
Talk about cliche.
Yeah. But I do think it must be like, if you're a man and like every single day this guy's telling you that nobody will want to fuck you, you're ugly, you're weird, like you can't make anybody laugh, you'll never make your parents happy, you can't please anyone, like obviously your response is going to be like, I need validation elsewhere. And if you
Yeah.
can't get that from your partner, you're going to want to fuck a ton of people.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
he just straight up told you that.
Well,
from
no.
the
So
start.
basically, we're going to clown school every day. We're going to clown school every day.
In little tiny cars.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
sorry.
No, no, I wish. On the metro. Metro. I just said very metro. What? Anyway, we're on the metro, and yeah, we also just like it was just we were like getting on each other all the time. Like I like to tell a story with a lot of whimsy, and he'd be like, "That didn't happen," like that kind of like. It was just
Oh, sure. Yeah.
things were fraying.
Yeah.
Then there was this weekend where he did tell me he was like wanting to sleep with other people, whatever. Then the next day, I'm debating how much of the story. I'll say for the basically the short version of this story is that some insult was said in class.
Okay.
I responded to the insult.
So it was an insult towards you from the clown master.
Well, I guess should I just tell the whole story and then I can edit it out later?
Yeah. I'm just gonna open my notes just so I
Yeah.
can keep track of what we want to edit out. So. Okay. whenever you're ready. And you're okay with keeping the other insults in? Or
Oh,
do you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
just-
totally.
Okay, cool. So
This
just-
one is the only one that I'm like, maybe I'll be like, maybe shut it out.
You got it.
Basically, so I get to class. My boyfriend that I'm living with is like, I kind of want to fuck other people.
in class.
No, this is like Monday.
Oh, Monday. Oh,
Sunday,
sorry.
he said that,
Gotcha,
whatever.
gotcha.
So I'm in a mood and I'm bloated also.
Which, by the way, if you're bloated, it makes everything
Everything-
it makes everything 10 times
No,
worse.
like I've told this story before and people are like, why did you decide in that moment to make that choice? And I'm like, I think 'cause I was bloated. Like, I think at the end of the day I was bloated.
It really, but then when
Yeah.
you unbloat, you feel great. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
it does feel great, but it's sometimes it's like you don't even appreciate it actually. It's like when you have the flu and you're like, as soon as I'm able to breathe through my nose, like I'm going to be a better
Yes.
person.
That's exactly, yes.
And then you breathe through your nose and you're like back to your normal bad self. Like it's
100%.
yeah.
Sorry to get you off track.
No, so anyway, we're in class and these two people are on stage and the clown master is like, this scene is so bad. If it was 1930s Poland, which death camp would we send them to? And then he pointed to a German student and he was like, you're German, which one?
Oh, God.
And the German student said Dachau. Like, just like you had it ready.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
It was just
that's
like,
one of the ones most people haven't heard of.
I know he did niche death camp. He knew all. He was like, can't say Auschwitz. It's too on the nose. Like that's the level of pressure you're under in clown school. It's like you have to be like, Trelunk, you know. You have to go.
You
to
gotta
the-
be ready with the pulse.
Yeah, you have to be like Dachau. So.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So he says Dachau, and I'm just I text my I have this running thing where I've been like texting my family like the top insults, whatever. So I send that insult. My family starts being like, you have to say something, blah 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 blah. And I like, honestly, then it was like we were outside, and I really wanted to say something to the German student, basically along the lines of like, dude, you had that so fast, like that's a little strange.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend was like, you're not allowed. Like, it was like, you will get in so much trouble if you say something, and it will ruin clown school for both of us. Then I was like, well, and isn't that the problem with the Holocaust? Do you know what I mean? Like, then I just went to like, and that's why we're all complacent. Because you're so afraid of clown school that, like, you know, have you ever seen the SNL, like, Girl You Wish You Never Met at a Party? It's
Yes.
like
Oh, he
that,
was
like,
like
it
that.
just, like, fully.
Yeah.
And I also just was, I think, just so
Yeah.
angry and, like, had reached just. Anyway, so we're standing by the train, and I'm just, like, looking at the train tracks, and I'm thinking of the trains going to, like, the death camp.
So dark.
And then he's like, and I do so I'm like, okay, I'll try to like be chill about this. And I send a text. 'Cause I also think I just hate somebody telling me I'm not allowed to do something in that way. 'Cause
Yeah.
then I got very moralistic about it, which is
Sure.
one of my bad habits.
Yeah.
But so I sent a text in a group chat with, I'd say, every student in clown school. And I said JSYK 'cause I was trying to be chill. Just so you know. And I sent like a photo of starving people in
From the
Holocaust.
Holocaust.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a death camp, and I was like, at the German student, like, just so you know, like, when you make fun of people dying in Dachau, like, this is what you're making fun of, and if that makes you uncomfortable, like, I'm pretty sure they were a little uncomfortable too.
Chill girl.
Chill girl. Also, like, Treblanka would have been funnier and like more niche if we're going.
You did not say that, did you? Oh my God.
Just like the worst.
Anna.
My ex-boyfriend sees it and he's like, how could you do that? You're ruining clown school. Like screaming at me that I ruined
Sure.
clown school. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, whatever. But so I guess on the original podcast it said we broke up because I said something, and he was like, no, we didn't break up because you said something. We broke up because I wanted to sleep with other people. So choose your
So-
fighter. I don't know.
So you break up after that and you have to move home.
Well, no, so we break up
Uh-huh.
and I'm still living in his apartment. Well, no, so the next day I go to clown school.
Yeah.
And the master clown's like, who wrote the evil letter to the German student? And I'm so confused because I'm like, who did, like, didn't even consider it like
didn't
that.
even click. Yeah.
He starts talking about how I'm a fascist. I try to say I'm not a fascist. He pulls me on stage. He's like, if you want to talk, you have to talk from the stage. And he's like, I only want good people in this school, like people who are able to love everybody. You don't seem to love everybody. I was like, do you love everybody? Like, what? I honestly fugue state blackout, and I think I just said everything I hadn't said. And like, that's the ironic. I don't even know if ironic. That's the thing about it, is that like the point of clown school is to have this, like, to reach the point of humiliation where you're completely free. And ultimately, like, I did reach that point of humiliation where I was then completely free.
And you're just like you're just like shouting.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and and by the way, like.
And he he likes you stop. He just slowly claps.
Well, one of the girls from clown school I saw for coffee like a year ago, and she was like, low key, I remember looking at him and being like, I think he was proud. That I was like, I'm leaving, and he was like, if you're leaving, never come back. And I remember the beginning, and I remember blacking out, and then being like, don't worry, I won't, and like storming out.
Oh, nice. That's a good one to end on.
Yeah. So then I'm still in his apartment, and I'm like, what do I do? And then I'm kind of just wandering around Paris, so it is very chic. Like,
love it.
and we're like, he's like going to clown school the next day, and I'm like, what has happened? I have no friends 'cause all of my friends from college dumped me.
Yeah.
I'm in a foreign country. I've told everybody that like I was going to clown school and it was my dream. I've now been expelled from clown school, and I have no job. And I've been living with this random man. Like, it was just like I'd made so many choices. And then I was like, probably should move home. I don't know. And then my grandpa died the next day.
The next day.
Like that, you know, it's like that Friday he died.
And
so
you guys were
together.
close?
We were close. And
Yeah.
he was dying for a long time. But when I told him I was thinking about going to clown school, he was like, go and have the best time. Like, his last words to me were, have the best time. Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. But I knew that he was I knew that he didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
I think it's it's to hear that on top of everything going on, the fact that you're still in this foreign country alone.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, just being in a foreign place like that, like, do you? And I know this isn't the point, but like, do you have like negative associations like with Paris now? Like, just like.
No, I'm kind of obsessed with it
Okay,
now.
never
Well, we'll
mind.
get back to
We'll
that.
get back
But
to
yeah,
But yeah, I just, because I get very anxious when I travel, which is why like I bring it up.
Yeah.
It's just like I can't imagine having all this happen and then just not even having like a stable home base to go
well,
back
it just
to.
everything felt crazy.
Yeah.
And then he died, and everyone kept saying he died surrounded by everyone he loved. And I was like, well, everyone minus one. Like, everyone can be like, but the most beautiful thing is he died surrounded. He died surrounded by like my brother and my parents and all of my cousins. But like, I just feel like there was a really important person that he was probably looking for.
I just love everyone minus one.
But yeah, but he did. I loved my pop up. Like, he was also dyslexic, and like, I think he really believed in me. And so
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember in middle school, I was getting really badly bullied, and I would always talk to him about the cool kids.
Aw.
And then at my middle school graduation, he was like, "What cool kids? These are all losers." Like,
oh.
yeah. But so then my mom calls me, and she's like, "He's dead."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess I should like go back home for the funeral." So I packed up all my things, and then my ex-boyfriend and I had like one last night where we like pretended things were like
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then I came back to New York, and then it was I flew home,
Packed all your stuff?
packed all my stuff,
Yeah.
which like wasn't that much 'cause I was living with him.
Right.
Flew home into the Shiva, basically.
Mm-hmm.
No, into the funeral. And I had to give a eulogy 'cause
Wow.
all 7 of his grandchildren gave eulogies. It was the longest fucking funeral. But it was
All
beautiful.
7?
All 7 of us
Wow.
gave eulogies. And
You
my
could
cousin's wife.
Make one a duo.
Not
and your
allowed.
and your
So there was, I
cousin's
think,
wife.
and his and my aunts gave eulogy, and my dad gave a eulogy. It was a very
Oh God, that's a lot. It's a long.
it was a lot. There were a lot of tributes to the man, But
People running the lights.
so my brother has been working on his eulogy the entire time my grandpa's dying. It's like my brother's coping mechanism is he's like every day he's visiting my grandpa in the hospital, he's writing a few lines.
Sure.
And he's like, I'm going to have the best eulogy. He sets up the funeral so that I go. And then it's it's all 7 cousins, basically. I'm 6.
Okay.
And then my brother's 7.
Wow, he's headlining.
He's headlining.
Yeah.
But so the thing is that I get on stage to start my eulogy, and I say earlier this week when I was expelled from clown school, I thought that was going to be the biggest tragedy. But sadly, I was really wrong. Brings the house down.
I bet.
The people are hysterically laughing. I kind of do an incredibly amazing it's one of the best eulogies ever done, I think. Because I've just had all this training and performance. I'm really
I was gonna say you're like B and A.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, you are
stage.
death. I was just fully I was locked in. I also was so free because it was just everything was bad, so I could say whatever. So I just do this, and I'm riffing basically. I've written this in an hour. I do this whole thing about my grandpa and our relationship and how I thought of him in the moment where I spoke back to the master all of this stuff that wasn't I just danced for the beautiful audience of my grandpa's funeral. And then my brother gave his speech, and it's just it is hard to bury somebody at the funeral, you know what I mean? Because it was just people clapped after my speech.
Oh my god.
And then my brother had been working really, really hard, and he gave a very touching speech, but it lacked the pizzazz that it lacked my natural charm, you know.
No laughs.
He tried. I think that it
that's
just
even worse.
I killed. So it's hard because you don't want the opener to be that much better than the headliner. And then it was just the Shiva, and I was sitting next to my brother the entire Shiva. And people kept coming up to me and being like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but yours was my favorite. And I'd be like, ah.
And they would just be like, nice to see you to
they were
your brother. Yeah.
So sorry for your loss to my brother. And to me, they were just phenomenal work.
Oh.
And so a thing about me is that when I'm in a dark period, I get hyper productive.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Where I'm just I'm not a depressed lie in bed.
Oh, really? See, I am. That's
I can't because I do a shame spiral, and then I
Right. So it's okay.
So it's I'll try to lie in bed, but then it's actually I need to change my entire being, and I need to do it right now. So that weekend I applied to 10 different MFA programs to go to grad school, and I got a job working at a restaurant, and I decided that it was December, and I decided that I was gonna do stand up every single day for an entire year for my New Year's resolution.
Really?
I went to my first open mic that week, and then I was okay, I'm gonna do stand up 365 times this year.
Did you do it?
And I did it.
Wow, Anna.
I know. And then by the end of that year, my life was awesome. But
Yeah.
that was the low point. But it was doing all those things was manic and very dark and sad. And I was just
No,
I
of
have to do
course.
everything, blah, blah, blah. But then by the spring, it was I was fully doing comedy, and I had gotten into the NYU MFA program, and I was working in this restaurant. So I was able to excavate whatever, but it was yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just taking it in.
And it was. I also just started going on dates with people, and it would be the work, because they'd be so what were you doing before you were in New York, or tell me about your last relationship, and I'd be then I'd tell that whole story.
Yeah, that's.
And then I'd be anyway, and they'd be oh, it's so nice to putting their stuff in their bag. So nice to meet you.
Did you tell that on first dates?
A lot of first dates
Anna.
got that full story,
Oh,
and
no.
a lot of no second dates.
Oh,
a lot of no second dates.
That's one you got to be I'll tell you that another time.
I remember another Carly Polestina shout out. I had gone on 2 dates with this guy I was really excited about, but he kept asking I really want to hear about your time in clown school, and I kept being I'll tell, it was the equivalent of sex. I was I'll tell you eventually, I'll tell you eventually.
Sure.
And I was every single first date I've gone on, I've told this story, and then there hasn't been a second date. And I was I need to figure out a good way to tell this story. And I remember Carly and I spent 2 hours at this Irving Farm Coffee, where she was let's think of all the angles that could be helpful in telling somebody this story. And she like you know, because if you've met Carly, she's so she's just the most incredible person. But she had all these like colored pens, and she was like, let's write all the parts of the story that make you look good in green, and all the parts of the story that make you look maybe red flagged in pink, and then we can try to balance it out.
I, knowing Carly,
Can see it, right?
that's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And I have it somewhere. It's like this full sheet of paper of her being like, well, and if you skip that moment, or if we make a joke here, he might like you're
writing a set to tell this story. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then so I just started doing stand up all the time, and I kind of in that moment, what happened is I basically realized, okay, like all of these things I've been doing my entire life of like doing what I think people want of me, like not actually allowing myself to feel anything, just pushing through and like kind of dissociating, really do not like, I think that it's going to make it where like everyone's happy with me and loves me, and it does temporarily, but then it always burns. Like it burned at the end of college because I'd like become friends with these girls under a pretense that was different from who I actually was, because I was just doing what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then like with my ex-boyfriend, I was just doing what he wanted, you know, and then it's like eventually those things all snap because we're humans and we snap. And so then I was like, oh, I actually have to like be doing my life entirely different than I've been doing it.
And like it makes me so happy to hear that, because I genuinely think a lot of people go their whole lives and don't make that realization.
Yeah. And I think I'm very lucky that I had that realization at 22.
Yeah. So like we usually end on what's the advice you would give to someone who's going through a similar situation. I feel like we kind of touched on it, which is I think like what's great is like I love that you got like very productive after, even though it was kind of like coming from a dark place.
Yeah.
But I guess like for someone who, and maybe just from talking from myself, like, 'cause I don't get that productive when I'm in that dark place or something like that. But you really kind of started this next part of your life from that.
100%. Well, I was raised like very much on Tony Robbins.
The advice is check out Tony.
No, that's not what I'd say. What I was gonna say is like my dad. My mom's gotten a lot of love, but on this, so I'll say my dad. When I was in middle school, I was really badly bullied, and every single weekend we'd get brunch, and then after brunch we'd go to the bookstore, and he'd buy me a different self-help book because he thought that would help my popularity. Which it did not. If you want your middle schooler to be popular, like give them weed. Like don't give them 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Teen. I was so high strung and a dork. Like it was just not the vibe.
Do you do that on stage?
No, I've tried, but I should try again.
I love that. That's really funny.
But so I just would read all these self-help books, and then I'd go into school and I'd be like, and how are you? And Matt, hello Matt, like, because you know, like how to win friends and influence people, how to win friends and influence people for teen girls, like all of them.
And you're like 7 seconds of straight eye contact,
which is probably why I'm like I can get everybody to like me if I try super hard. But at the same time, I do think that like the overarching lesson is like you're never really situations can have us stuck. Obviously, also I have like immense privilege in all these ways, but a lot of the time we aren't as stuck as we feel, and there's always at least like one micro change you can make.
I love that.
To make your life better. I mean, I think that's why people like cut their hair after a breakup, like subconsciously. It's like, and that's not going to actually make things better, but it's like reminding yourself that you have a choice.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the time when hard things happen, we like our natural instinct is to be like reclusive and hide. But it is just like, well, if you're, I also had a bit of a low point a few months ago, basically just to skip forward, then it's going to circle back to my advice. Well, so then by the fall, I had been doing a lot of stand-up. I had gotten into this program, and I started, it's like a fiction writing program. And I wrote a short story about clown school. Now I'm writing a novel about a girl who goes to clown school.
I love.
Yeah. And at like the end of this year, like a bunch of like shitty things happened all at once while I was trying to finish my thesis. And I was talking to my professor about it, my thesis advisor, and he was like, well, you can either think of it as you have nothing or you have nothing to lose. And I think that's like the greatest advice I've ever been given,
Yeah,
because it
that's-
is like, and I think that's how I've lived a lot of my life, where it's like, well, if I've lost all my friends and my boyfriend and I don't have a job and I just got expelled from clown school and I'm living back at my parents' place, I guess like any move I make's only gonna get better.
Yeah, that's really.
I don't know if that's helpful for anyone, because I think it's a very selective. Like, I don't know if there's like a lot of people who just got expelled from clown school, but apply it to what you will. It's just that, like, I think a lot of the time we don't act because we're afraid, but that like action most of the time is better than inaction.
You're so right, and we like talk about these micro changes. Like, it's gonna sound so silly, but like basically what had happened recently, like I went to the doctor. My cholesterol is like through the roof.
The
And it's
worst,
like
yeah.
it's so like it's bad, like really, really bad. So I was like, okay, let me just, like you said, I'm looking for small changes. Anna, just by making myself like a healthy shake just to start my morning
It changes the entire day.
changes everything. 'Cause now I'm like,
Yeah.
I had my shake, okay.
It
maybe
primes
now I
your
can-
brain.
Yeah, exactly. So I really love that. Micro changes is so.
And also, micro changes in the beginning are really scary.
Yeah.
But then if you force yourself to do them for a period of time like the hardest anything is at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that, because by the time you're an adult, every skill you have is one that you've had for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So like your first open mic is the worst open mic you're going to go to. Like, that first month is horrible, but if you can make it through that first month, you can probably make, like that. I got distracted because I was thinking Dan Janine, who introduced us, is one of my older brother's best friends, and he really encouraged me to start going to open mics, and he was like,
I
you
love
just
that.
have to keep going. You just have to keep going.
We could do like another hour on how
I know.
amazing Dan is.
We really could, and he would hate it.
I know.
It would, it would be torture for him. Anyway, but I do think, like, if you just force it, because he was like, you're not going to be good for a really long time, so you just have to be okay with being really bad.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just have to be bad at the thing and be okay being bad at the thing. And I think if you remember that, like, it's everybody who starts anything is really bad, and that
Yeah.
everything you're good at you were once really bad at,
Mm-hmm.
then eventually it stops being bad.
Oh, I love that so much. And the
Yeah.
last thing I'll just say on that is like the force of like inertia is like it's a real
Totally.
thing. It's a real
Yeah.
thing. So like, with those micro changes, whether it's going to mics or doing whatever, to get going is the hardest part, but once you're moving, it
Yeah.
gets easier and easier every day.
And also, like, we're so wired to be antisocial,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes everything worse. But,
Yeah.
like, seeing people makes you feel better, even if you're introverted. Like, I need alone time, but, like, oh, that's the other thing. Everyone laughs when I say I'm an introvert.
But like it's how you recharge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm someone like I would consider myself an introvert, but like I don't think you would or the outside.
No, I
eye.
probably wouldn't.
No, but it's like yeah.
So it's very easy for me to be like, I don't want to be around anybody. But it's like, no, actually, like, what makes you feel better most of the
Yes,
time
that's-
is seeing that there's other
Yeah.
people that exist and that you're not that special.
Yes.
like, I think it's really important to, like, go on a walk and be like, oh, like, there are people sitting at this cafe talking to each other, and,
Yeah.
like, they're probably also upset about X thing. Like, I'm not the only person alive who's felt pain.
Do you know, like, one thing one thing I love thinking is, like, going for these walks, and I'm like, wow, all of these people don't do comedy. I'm like, what do they do? I'm like, what is
I
makes
don't even think that.
Oh,
I just
really?
think, like, mine, which is why I said it's like, all of these people also have crushes, and all of these people... Everyone on the street is waiting for a text back. Like... That's my view of things.
I love it so much. Anna, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, if you're interested in the clown school story, I am writing a book about a girl who goes to clown school, and it's fiction. But you can. It is.
You're like, it's not a French guy. It's like he was from Spain.
No, the point of the book's French. But it is fiction. Anyway, that will come out eventually. But you can follow me at Anna Rose Koppelman on Instagram and TikTok. I think it's just Anna Koppelman. It might be Anna Rose Koppelman. I should know that. But yeah, and then also shows you can see from there.
When you publish the book, we should do a reading here. That'd be so
Oh
fun.
my God, I would love
Would
that.
you love
yeah.
to? I'll mention it to Carmen. She would love to.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna probably be,
Whatever.
but when it happens.
When it happens.
Come
yeah.
to the reading when it happens
Yeah.
here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We'll repost this episode. It'll be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
Anna,
You're the
you are
best. Thank you
amazing.
for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And here's to hoping we left you a little higher.
Oh, I love that.
Do you? It's
Yeah.
cheesy, but
No, it's so good.
oh, we did it.